Good morning. Thank you for being here this morning, and it's nice to see some familiar faces in the community. I love Ponca because you guys are such a fabulous community. I've never been in such a community that is so active with their business organizations and building community like you guys do. There's so many beautiful opportunities here to network and meet people and collaborate and build a better community. So I'll tell you a little bit about Lotus Acupuncture. I know some of you are familiar with this story, but I'll reiterate it. I actually work for Dr. Brandy Valentine, and she started Lotus about 16 years ago. She grew up in Blackwell, and her family is from Blackwell and Ponca City, and I know a lot of you guys know Dr. Valentine, a little dynamo. And she's been coming back and forth to Ponca City to treat the community because she loves this community and she wanted to keep a presence here and to take care of people in Ponca City and to provide that service. She has since gotten really busy in Broken Arrow. She has expanded her business. There are 3 of us acupuncturists now, including her that work for her with her 2 locations. She's getting more into entrepreneurship. And she has recently won an award for her business in Broken Arrow, so she's doing amazing. But she wanted to bring in somebody to be consistent in Ponca City. And I'm here every week now, Mondays and Wednesdays, to provide the services that she started 16 years ago, so there could be continuity in the community. What's interesting about Lotus is that we get people from Kansas driving to get services. I've had somebody drive 4 to 5 hours, a couple of different people to come and get services. There really isn't an acupuncturist close. Brandy said it like there's somebody maybe 2 hours away, but I get the impression it's even further than that because I get people further than that to come. So they're coming to Ponca City for acupuncture. And to touch on what he said about collaborating, I'm trying to collaborate more in the community. I'm working with one of the yoga studios to do a class to incorporate and to bring more interesting things into the community health-wise and to provide different services. But what does Lotus provide? We do acupuncture, obviously. And to describe acupuncture, we use needles on specific points to create certain responses in the body. And just in short, it's like an electrical grid in the body. There's over 300 acupuncture points on a continuous grid throughout the body. And the Chinese have mastered what each of these points actually does in the body. They elicit certain responses separately or putting them in combinations to create different responses for pain management, and all kinds of interesting things. As you heard, some of the things that we can help with acupuncture are so many and varied, including pain, stress, fertility, digestive issues, hormonal issues, helping with cancer patients, and more. So also we provide cupping. I don't know if you guys have experienced cupping. Yay! Fire cupping, we use fire with glass cups, and it creates a pressure on the skin to release heat, to release toxins. It's really, you might have seen some of the athletes with the red marks on their body, the circles, that's from cupping. If anybody wants to try it, it feels amazing. Where massage is where you push down, cupping pulls up the muscles and the fascia to release and let go, and it's very relaxing. We also provide herbal therapy at Lotus in Ponca City. In Chinese medicine, herbal therapy is an important part of the Eastern medical system. It's almost as important as the acupuncture because it kind of ties together and helps create a better response or prognosis. And then we also work on a lot of lifestyle issues. And right now, what I'm finding is that people are under a lot of stress. Times are not easy right now for a lot of people. So a lot of what we see are stress-related illnesses anxiety-related illnesses, and acupuncture and herbal therapy is excellent for treating those kinds of things. So Dr. Brandy specializes in cancer. She worked at Cancer Treatment Centers of America and also in fertility. And what's really interesting about our 3 acupuncturists on staff is that we get together and do case studies and work together. So I have the 3 of us are able to really put our heads together. So if there's a case that maybe I'm not quite familiar with or I need help with, there's 3 of us that have our heads together working for patients to create a better outcome for them. So that's been really exciting too. I love the collaboration. And we get together and just go over case studies and how would you treat this, and here's an idea and what worked with this patient. So I love that about Lotus. And I think it's a good fit for me to be here. And I hope that you guys will come and experience acupuncture. And if there's anything that we can help you with, we would love to. Does anybody have any questions? Yes?
Dr. Tegan, do you, in some cases, have to prescribe medications? Do you do that, or is that something you stay away from?
Yes, so he asked if we prescribe medications or if that's something we stay away from. We can prescribe herbal therapies, which is in our scope of practice. And in the Eastern medicine or Chinese medicine, the herbal formulas are very complicated, they're very old. The herbal therapy is about 50% of what we do, and they're very powerful and effective at treating patients. And so we're able to prescribe our medicine, which is the Chinese herbal formulas, and then also supplements, like magnesium, things like that. So that's in our scope, but not medication per se. Good question. Yes, ma'am.
Do you take insurance?
We don't at the Lotus location in Ponca City. I do believe Dr. Valentine does in Broken Arrow, and they're working on that to make it easier.
How long does a session take typically?
Yeah, how long does a session take? Another great question. So the first session we do an intake and the first treatment, and so that's about an hour and a half that we leave for that first patient. The intake is very thorough. So Chinese medicine is a little bit different in that we look at so many aspects of what's going on with a person. We want to know everything. So our intake is a little bit long, and then we sit and we talk and we go over a lot of things and ask a lot of questions, and we get a better, fuller picture of what's going on with that person. We want to be able to treat the cause of the issue, not just a symptom. So it takes a little bit longer to get to the cause so that we're able to treat more appropriately. We want better outcomes. And then they'll get a first treatment that first visit too. And so, yeah, about an hour and a half. And then the next time people come, it's usually 45 minutes to an hour. So, yeah. Yes, Rich.
So can acupuncture help with asthma and breathing issues?
Yes, acupuncture is excellent for treating asthma and breathing issues. We get a lot of people that have breathing issues and seasonal allergies that make it difficult. And there are excellent protocols for that, and also herbal therapies. You guys are laughing. I'd love to know why. Yeah, so acupuncture points that can open up the breathing passages and herbal therapies to reduce some of the inflammation in the lungs is extremely helpful. We have pretty good results with that. Yeah. Yes, sir.
You mentioned that like massage presses down and those cups pull out. So if someone's regularly getting massages, should they stop that if they're going to do cupping, or can you do them simultaneously?
Yes, that's an excellent question. So if someone's getting, I'm repeating for people in the back. So if people are getting massage, should they stop and get cupping because one is pushing down and one is pulling up? No, absolutely not. Do both. It both works the fascia in a different way. So we want to loosen up the fascia. Some people get just amazing results from cupping. Athletes use it to reduce recovery time. Their fascia gets tight, they build up lactic acid, and the cupping is pulling that up and releasing it all so that they aren't as sore and they're able to have better performance levels. But both are excellent. They're just slightly different, but you can do them both at the same time. Did you have another question?
I'm just telling him he needs to be drinking a lot of water if he's going to do both.
Ah, yes, drink a lot of water. Absolutely. Yes, Rich?
So if you don't like needles, does it hurt?
If you don't like needles, does it hurt? It really depends on the person. If somebody if they come in a lot of pain and their nerves are on, like they're just, you guys know how it feels when you're in pain and you're sensitive to everything and everything's tight and you're just like bracing yourself because you hurt. Trying to needle somebody like that, they can be needle sensitive. Their nerves are literally, on edge or on the surface of their skin because they're in pain. I work on a Native American woman who's amazing. She just does this. I said, "You're so relaxed." She goes, "Oh, I just try to just release and let go." So the more relaxed you are, the better outcome. But the needles are so tiny. 95% of the time, you don't really feel them. You might feel some warmth, some tingling, a little shock, but that should go away and then you should be able to relax. But sometimes, you might feel a little sensation, especially in some of the more potent, stronger points that will get a response. And we call that in Chinese medicine, getting the qi. Oh, yeah, we got the qi, all right. But we try not to, hurt people because some people just don't want to feel that. So we try to be careful. Some people don't care. They're like, yeah, bring it on. So I try to work with them at where they're at so that it's a really good experience for them because we know the outcome will happen. Whether they believe in the needles or not, they work. So we're confident they'll still get something out of it. Yes?
Do you mind sharing the time frame each procedure takes and maybe the prices with them?
Yeah, so that's an excellent question. The prices here in Ponca City and the time frame. So Dr. Brandy, if you go to get acupuncture somewhere else, it's going to be a lot more expensive. Dr. Brandy has kept Ponca City less expensive because she really is just really serving this community. So the first intake and treatment is $100. That's an hour and a half. And then after that, it's $70. Right, a treatment, but then she offers a package where you can save $100. So you pay so much and you get 10 treatments, and that's $100 off of those treatments. Excellent and affordable care. So I'm not sure the other part of the question, the time frame of how often you come.
Well,
Is that
how long? So if we came to get something done, do we need to set 30 minutes aside or 90 minutes aside? Or how long does it take?
first visit 90 minutes? And then after that, 45 to 60 minutes a visit. I tend to go a little bit longer with people. I have that luxury here right now. And honestly, if they're relaxed and I don't need the room and they're just completely zonked out, I try to leave them in there a little bit longer because it's helpful to them if they have time. I make sure that they're not having to go somewhere else. But yeah, as long as we have time, I try to do everything I can in that session to help that person. Yes, ma'am.
So I assume you're making a treatment plan, after that first initial, there's a treatment plan, and so we would know how long maybe we would need treatment?
Yes, thank you for bringing that up. Yes, so after the first initial visit, you would have a treatment plan. I would suggest some people come a couple times a week for a few weeks. Maybe they come once every 2 weeks. It really depends on what they have going. We'd like to get them on a maintenance schedule once a month to keep up with acupuncture because that's ideal. It's almost like, so the needles don't have medicine in them, but I call it like taking a dose of medicine. So you take some needles, it's like getting a dose of medicine, And when you're at a certain level and in a lot of pain, one dose is probably not enough. And so the first treatment, you will get a response and you will get better, but you're going to go up a little bit. And if you wait too long between the next treatment, you're going to start to do this, and we don't want that. We kind of want you to do this kind of thing and then level off. So we want more doses in your system for a while to get you up to that level to where we can level you off, if that makes sense. That's why we suggest a little more. It's not a miracle. Some people would like, I would be making a lot more money if that were, if I could do one treatment and cure you guys, it would be awesome. But it takes a little longer, because if it's a problem that has been chronic, it is going to take a little longer to get you guys where you want in your treatment goals and plans, but you will feel better. So a lot of times people feel better, so much better so quickly that I don't need this. And then, yeah, a month later, they're like, I might need to come keep up with this. And then we'll gauge your body. We revisit. Every few times you come in, we'll talk, and I ask every single visit, how are you doing? How long did it last? Anything change? We gauge all of that closely so that we can adjust treatments every time you come in to get you to those goals, and it takes a little bit of tweaking, and it is a partnership with the patients. I'm partnering with people to get them to a better quality of life and better health care, and together we do this. And the more information you guys give me, the more we can work together to get you to those goals. So, anything? Yes.
Is that when you would determine, like, if you did acupuncture and cupping, or one or the other, or how does that work? Or does somebody know that's what they want? Like, I could go in and say, I want acupuncture.
Some people know they want cupping, and they just come in for that. They've been there a while with Dr. Brandy, and they know exactly what they want, and they're fully able to do that. The first intake, we do determine that, and sometimes I'll switch too. I won't get the response I want with acupuncture, so I go, next time we're going to do cupping and acupuncture. So we treatments that the more information we have, the better we can treat you guys. So, yeah.
Is the time frame on cupping about the same, like hour and a half for the first and then 45 minutes?
It could run a little less if we just do cupping, but we leave the hour and a half open because it's nice to have that time with a patient to get to know them and ask all the questions we need to and get them comfortable. And if they have questions, they're welcome to ask at that time too, and going over their treatment goals. I think it's really important to have that rapport with someone, to build a relationship and trust and have them ask questions. It's really important because we want them to make positive changes in their life, and we want to provide that level of care. They might not get it from, I don't know, but they might not get it from a primary care where they don't have that kind of time. But it's important that we spend time with our patients. Every time they come in, I sit and I look at them and we talk for a few minutes, and I get caught up because then you know where they're at. Sometimes people come in and they glow. They're just having a great day. Well, we can take the treatment in a different level. If they come in and they're upset and they're nervous, you're like, okay, well, we might need to go a little different direction this time. But then you're really able to gauge where your patients are at and help them the best way you can. So when they leave, they're feeling better and you're not missing important clues about what's going on with them. So, anybody else? What can the community do to support the business? Refer people to acupuncture. Be an ambassador for Eastern medicine. It's not as well known as Western medicine. Say, yes, I had this experience and it can be very helpful. I would love to have more opportunities for collaboration in the community. Talking with the yoga studio to provide a class combining acupuncture and yoga, and to do different things. There's Nada. Nada is a protocol for the ear, and they use that around the world in places where there's been great trauma, like Ukraine and things like that. And if there's say like a homeless, or I'm just throwing it out there, I'm not really sure, say a domestic violence shelter, homeless shelter, that maybe that would help their patients. It would be nice to be able to go work with that community and just provide the ear acupuncture for them. It's interesting because that protocol resets and reboots the entire nervous system, which is why it's used so frequently for places that are under great trauma, and anybody can benefit from it. So I like to do those kinds of things as well, and just go in and work with people and just provide that. And it's amazing the difference in their focus, their stress level, their energy. They're able to actually focus again. When people are under great stress, it's hard for them to just maintain a normal existence. But when you can get them to calm down and refocus and reduce stress, then they can start to move forward again. So there's a lot of different things that acupuncture can do for the community. So I just appreciate this opportunity to talk about just a few of them, and again to get Lotus out there so that you guys know a little bit about us, and know that you guys have that here in Ponca City.